Meeting called to order. Today is Tuesday, April 23rd. It is now 7:35 PM. Town Council meeting in the Town Council Chambers, 1170 Main Street, West Warwick, Rhode Island.
Roll call. Councilman Dennison.
Here.
Councilman Lichardi.
Here.
Councilman Messier.
Here.
Council Vice President Williamson.
Here.
Council President Goslin.
Here.
Quorum is declared. Consent agenda.
Move approval of the consent agenda.
Second. Move second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
I'd like to move the letter G business licenses up before letter F ordinances.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll be recusing myself from the licenses too.
Licenses. Do you want me to read them off, David, or?
No, I
Move approval of the business licenses. Excuse me. Easy
move in
for
second.
me to say.
Any discussion? Any public discussion on the business licenses? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Those licenses that have been approved is Portuguese Holy Ghost for Flea Market, Big Dog Eats, Willie's Wieners, Condesa Mexican, Wiley's Wieners,
You gotta end it by
Condesa
that.
Mexican Restaurant, West Warwick Public Library, 401 Pokey Supply, Mama's TV Kitchen. All renewals for antique and secondhand dealers have been approved. All junk dealer licenses have been approved.
You're going all set. Okay, why don't we move on to F, ordinances?
You saw that as Mama's TV?
Yeah.
You saw that as Mama's TV, not Mama Ties?
You gotta get those, you gotta check
Dave,
those prices for
can you
you.
blame me? He's thinking about the wieners. Can't think, he can't talk
Really
straight.
Mama Ties, yeah. I say Mama TV?
You guys, yes,
It's all right.
but you were still thinking about Willie's wieners, so that was, it. Yeah. I know,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
yeah.
HR's in the room. I'm not gonna make any comments.
From HR too.
That's wise.
All right. Ordinances, amendments to the zoning ordinance to address recent housing legislation.
Move the ordinance.
Second.
Members of council, first, I'd like to explain why we've had such a delay. Once the council gave us the green light, we went ahead and it took some time to, with the manager and with Attorney Salvatore, fill out the paperwork, but we finally got it through that Rhode Island Housing is picking up the tab for this project. Once she was approved, she began work. The problem came about that in January, Sarah and I sat down and we went through all of the ordinances that had been passed last year and all of the subdivision rules and regulations that have been passed by the planning board. Put them together, Sarah sent them out to the Muni Code for them to be put into our zoning code and subdivision regulations. Well, Attorney Salvatore had done the work, but she could not finalize it until she had those to make sure that our code was up to date. Those didn't come in until a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, when they did come back, after a number of delays from Unicode, Attorney Salvatore was on vacation. So in the last 2 weeks, she managed to update the project. And this is what she gave me. Marilyn and I met with her for a couple of hours this afternoon. The majority of the changes that have to be made are statutory in nature. We don't have any choice. That whether we put them in or we don't put them in, they're the law. On several occasions, I've appeared before you and said, well, don't worry about it. These continuances, because we will operate under the state statute. To give you an example of that, tomorrow evening before the zoning board, I have 5 or 6 request for dimensional variances. Well, our ordinance is not up to date. The 5 steps that the zoning board normally would follow, I sent them a report, and I believe I sent it to you. And I explained to them, forget all your knowledge. State law's got something new. So we will be operating tomorrow night under state law, even though we don't have it in the zoning ordinance. As I said, the zoning ordinance is, 90% of it is boilerplate. But we don't have any choice on it. The real tough area is in the zoning code. I don't know whether you're familiar or not. There's a thing called the table of uses that says that if you want to open a wiener shop, you can open it not in any of the residential districts, but you can open it in a business and for each of those hundreds of uses that are in that table, there's either a Y, letter Y, which means you can do it, a letter X, which means you can't do it, or a letter S, which means you need a special use permit. And you used to go before the zoning board and ask the zoning board to grant you a special use permit. So before our legislature used its wisdom, if you went before the zoning board for special use permit, the zoning board had to find that what you were asking would be compatible with the neighboring land uses, not create a nuisance in the neighborhood, not hinder the future development of the town, conform to the applicable sections of the ordinance, and be in conformance with the purposes and intent of the comprehensive plan. That's what you had to prove. Now, I'll ask you, if I came in and I said to you that I wanted to put in a gas station, would any of you have any questions as to what the gas station was? The legislature, in its wisdom, has now said that unless we define a gas station, well, in a 5-paragraph description of exactly what a gas station is, I thought I had it marked. Okay, it's here, right there it is. Gas station. We have to have specific objective criteria. So if our zoning code does not say that a gas station shall meet the following minimum requirements of lot area, and we gotta put that in, square feet, depth, we gotta put in the depth, and a lot number, we gotta put a number of feet. Structures and all pump islands and compressed air connections and civil thing, no access driveway. 8 paragraphs, so that you now know exactly what a gas station is. We have, the last count I had was 133 special use permits. So we were supposed to put in 133 specific and objective definitions. When we met with Attorney Salvador today, I suggested to her, she had made some changes. She put in some definitions that were required. And I said, look, here's my suggestion to him. And Marilyn went along. I said, Marilyn and I have gone through the work you presented. We met for 2 hours. We made a number of changes to what she said. I said, look, put together a zoning ordinance. I said, you're asking us to define drive-throughs. Well, we don't know where it's going to be. How are we supposed to put a definition? Whether we don't know whether it's going to be on a small street, a big street, a small lot. But the legislature didn't care. It's one fits all. So the end of the meeting was that with the changes Marilyn and I had suggested, she's going to make them. I would then like to be able to present to you on your only meeting once in May. And it first has to go to the planning board to say it's okay for you to pass it. I would like to I discussed it with her, to put this matter before you on your January 4th meeting with the final package. And I said to her, look, I said, put
June.
June 4th.
So you said January 4th.
Yeah.
Oh, June 4th.
Okay.
So I said to her, look, I said, neither Marilyn and I can read this and say, it's gonna work until we get somebody who comes in and applies for something. In all honesty, it's impossible for us to know. So I said, my suggestion is let us put this in. And then when somebody comes in for something, just like we did a year or so ago, we did not have provision for a cell phone storage unit. So we changed our zoning code and we made it available. I think the only way we can do this is by putting it in effect and then working our way through it. For example, we had in our zoning code a whole section on mill reuse, which is very important to this town. Now they have a new thing called adoptive reuse. Well, that's governing the law. Our mill reuse doesn't matter. If our mill reuse doesn't fit adoptive reuse, it's overcome. So it's things like that that neither Marilyn nor I, nor Attorney Salvador can anticipate until they're in place. So with that background, what I suggested to her, that instead of her, you know how when I submit an application to you, I cross out and I underline, and I said, instead of you trying to take and do that to this, I said, my suggestion, and I will only do it naturally with the council authority, is what I would like her to do is to put together a new zoning code, which she will get to us, Tamara and I, quickly. And then instead of trying to delete an S and put in a Y, you'll have a new zoning code. We'll repeal the old zoning code and give you a new one. And all I can tell you is, will that zoning code be perfect? No, but there's no way. We talked about, minimum queues for drive-throughs. You know, you come in and you may want to put a thing in a particular place. We can't say 10 spots for everybody. So we sat down with her and we did banks, we did drive-throughs, we did drugstores. We did several. With our knowledge of the town, we came up, and she's going to put in minimums. The problem is that in theory, if it says you have to have this many and you got one less, in theory, you can't get it changed. In practice, when they come before the zoning board, I think we can work it out. So that's where we are at tonight, and I apologize to the council for the delays. Sarah and I have had a number of discussions with the problems we've had with Muni Code. It's just, and what's going on, they put in one section that said it was mandatory for the zoning board to have this. I've been following it, and it's now gone from the House to the Senate. They're changing it already, don't they? Zoning code may have this. You know, so that's where I stand. I'll try to answer any questions you have, but
So it's been a ton of work, and I appreciate there've been a lot of people involved. And I think what you're saying is we're going to accept what the state has. We're going to make a few changes, and we're going to know that it's a living document because
Yes.
things are going to have to change.
yes.
Yeah.
She sent it to us, and Marilyn and I, with our knowledge of the town, she's done, I think, 3 or 4 for other communities. So this is the basic, there's some things in there, but whether we like it or not, we don't have any say in it.
Right.
That
We knew that. We knew that.
that adoptive use, for example, the fact that we have to give specific and objectives that, you know, that if we want to make a gas station, so you have to get permission to put it there, we're gonna put this stupid definition in. You know, it just, so that's where we're at, and I'm gonna ask you that, the reason I've kept continuing it is it has to be advertised for 3 weeks. By the fact that we've been continuing it, we've saved Sarah the cost of advertising this thing for 3 weeks. I would like to put it on the agenda for, you to have it put on the agenda for June 4th for action,
So what do you need us to do, Al, Sarah?
and continue it again.
Just continue it, a motion to continue the zoning ordinance amendment to not January, June
June
4th.
4th,
Second.
and that way I will bring it to the planning board prior to that meeting, and I know that they will.
Al's looking for winter so you can go back to Florida, huh?
Yeah,
I'm coming up the 30th for good.
oh, there you go.
Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very
Opposed?
much, I appreciate
Al.
it.
Thank you, Al.
For your work.
Second reading of ordinance 2024-3, amending Appendix C traffic ordinances, handicap parking on Sunset Avenue.
Move the ordinance.
Second.
Second, and this was on the last agenda, basically, it was just to add another handicap parking spot on Sunset Avenue.
Yeah, we've already granted two, and the priest would like another one, so.
Any other comment?
Traffic committee approved it.
Hearing none, I'll take a roll call vote. Jay?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Yes.
Mary Beth?
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes.
because we continue.
Business licenses were already considered. Appointments and resignations. Resignation of Jessica Rubery from the planning board.
Move that we accept the resignation with regret. My understanding, based on the information that I've heard, and that I think is in the letter that she sent, is she's just sort of overwhelmed at this point in time, so she will stay involved at the juvenile hearing board, yes.
I second.
Again, Jess has been serving religiously and on 2 different boards, and she's a great asset to the community. So, you know, can we just send her a thank you for her
Yes.
time? That being said, all in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it.
New business, monthly finance report, March 2024.
Supposed to do this way?
Yes?
Okay.
Hi, Krista.
I'm not used to this. Good evening, council. Current year tax collections total $52,883,317.69, which is 80.26% of the budget for current year taxes. We've collected 3 quarters and are trending approximately 5% higher than expected. Prior year tax collections have picked up with tax sale letters being mailed out and totals $668,679.70, which is equal to 51.44% of the budgeted amount.
Wow.
This line has been adjusted by $388,262.80 for the 60-day rule and accrued back to fiscal year 2023. Overall, the revenues are at 76.87%, which is higher than the expected 75. This is mainly attributed to strong tax collections and higher than expected building, finance, and town clerk revenues. Expenditures are trending under budget at 73.5%. This is 1.5% below the expected 75. There are a few variables contributing to this. The variables net out to bring us within 1.5% of our target. Some examples of that are as follows: 100% of the senior center appropriation has been paid, and longevity has been paid at 100% as well. 76.3% of the debt service, however, has been paid. The operating department budgets are trending at or below the expected 75%, including pension expense. The Civic Center has current operating expenditures of $501,241.23 and operating revenues of $564,508.10. The bank balance as of April 4th was $3,313,533.65. We earned an additional $21,879.34 on the $6 million in the interest-bearing sweep account with Citizens Bank, bringing us to a total of, for 7 months, to $144,925.32. We have also earned $291,664.64 as of February in interest on our ARPA funds invested at Centerville Bank. And I also attached a capital summary in your package so you could see where we're at with that.
Any questions for Kristen? It's all good news, Kristen. Thank you.
I try. Yeah. Sunshine and rain.
Sunshine and rain, folks. Oh, boy.
Adoption of the fiscal year 2025 proposed budget to be presented to the voting public on Thursday, May 23rd, 2024.
Move approval of the proposed budget.
Second.
Moving second. Mark, you just want to give an overview of that budget?
According to the resolution, we're seeking for you to adopt the budget for fiscal year 25 with the following information. The town budget being set at $119,379,606. Our total estimated revenue other than property tax is $51,009,886, and total estimated to be raised from property tax, $68,369,720.
Any questions for Mark? We want to share the percentages so that way their public is aware.
The estimated tax rate increase would be 1.99% for residents. That was across the board, correct?
No, I know, but I just, no, I just wanted it to be. Any other comment? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution approving the ballot wording for the all-day referendum on May 23rd, 2024.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Moving seconded. This is pretty, it's only like a one-liner. While sitting here, I, having a conversation before the meeting with Sarah, she said we can change anything we want. I just want to throw this out there. And this is how I have it written. It's it's a small paragraph. The town council's last stipend increase was in 1985. Shall the town council stipend be increased from $5,000 per year to $8,000 per year effective January 1, 2025? I think it gives a little history of when the town council last received the stipend increase.
Should you put per counselor on there?
Yeah, we can actually, that's what it says in the beginning, but I didn't add it. Per member.
Could I make one more suggestion? Where it says town council stipend, in the charter, it actually says compensation under section 406. So you might want to put town council compensation, Article Roman numeral 4, section 406, and then put your clause. And then I would suggest your language about the last time there was a raise, you might want to put that either in bold print
So
or italics.
the last time it was on for the warrant, it said, resolution moved by Council President McKenna, seconded by Councilman Casey, and unanimously voted that the following question be on the call of warrant. Shall the salary of the town council be increased $1,000 per council person for a total increase of $5,000? That's what was emailed to you on April 11th.
Right. But like I said, the only thing I would add is just mentioning the article of the Home Rule Charter and section 406. But in that clause, he put salary.
Shall the
That was
salary.
prior to the Home Rule Charter.
Okay.
The charter has compensation versus salary or stipend, so I would just have a uniform language of using compensation.
Yeah, that works.
Is that wording?
Nope.
Well, I got mine written down.
We have to vote on it.
But you want to,
No, but
do you want
as
to,
his
Right,
home rule
but
charter.
my suggestion would be as follows.
hold on, hold on, why don't you see this and you want to read it into
Yeah,
the record with
yeah.
that, with the
So
language?
the
That way we have
caption,
it.
the caption would be town council compensation pursuant to Home Rule Charter, Article Roman numeral 4, comma, Section 406, shall the town council's compensation be increased from $5,000 per year to $8,000 per year, effective January,
Remember.
I'm sorry, per member, effective January 1st, 2025. And then in a parenthetical, either with bold print or italics or both, the town council's last compensation increase was in 1985.
I think it starts off with that. I don't think we have to keep.
Well, it depends on what you, I mean, whatever. You know, it's wordsmithing. I don't care if you want to,
Yeah, it doesn't
if
matter.
you want to make, if you want to emphasize that, I would just kind of,
Put it down bottom.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I said either in italics or bold print, so people will know that you haven't had a raise since before cable TV.
And now cable fees going away. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, What was the first thing we had?
It's the cable.
Premiere? No.
Cable's around.
What was that stuff, night, the early
1985
80s?
was the year Punky Brewster debuted on TV. Just from, we can add that to the,
Wow, okay.
add some fun facts here.
Trivia, kid,
Yeah.
fun facts, Punky Brewster.
Don't keep Bruce.
Soleil Moon Fry.
So Sarah, do you want to read that to us, just so we?
I couldn't, I'll go back and watch the video.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine.
It's too fast.
Okay.
Unfortunately, so the town council's annual compensation will be increased by pursuant to, section 4, I'm sorry, Article 4, section 406 of the Home Rule Charter, shall the town council compensation be increased by $3,000 per member, and then in italics, the last increase was in February of 1985. The only question I have with that is David's compensation is slightly more being the president. Is that?
President
going-
always should get 1,000 more.
So
Yeah, but
it
that's
doesn't speak to
included.
that?
That's in the charter already. I don't think it should be I don't think it should be raised.
No, it's 3,000 per member.
Right, the amount is not in the charter?
No,
So I
It
didn't
does-
know
it-
if that makes a difference if we,
if you want to make the distinction that charter members would be an increase of $3,000 and the town council president would also have an increase of
Still be
$3,000.
$3,000.
It's per member.
Council president gets gets 6,000, they get 5,000, you're still increasing by 3,000.
I understand that. My question is right now, where does it say 5 and 6? I don't think that's a part of the warrant. That could change back in
It's
the
in there
80s. I know, I've seen
The
it.
charter, I've seen it.
The charter's got,
Yeah, I know. Scary.
I think just leaving it open-ended of increase of $3,000 is okay, as long as you don't put for a total of,
says the
8,000.
president of the town council shall receive additional salary as shall from time to time be presented by the town council and approved by the budget process. So if you were gonna put yours in at $1,000 more, it's not really listed as a dollar amount in the compensation part of the charter, but if you wanted to put that in there, you could.
I was just suggesting,
I
if you
wouldn't
don't put for a
overcomplicate.
total of, I would just say, would you like to increase their stipends by $3,000 and leave it
Period.
like
And,
that?
and
I
not,
agree
and not,
with you.
and not
I
at the
agree with
total
you.
of 8,000, I mean, so increase,
Correct,
okay.
taking out the total of 8,000.
makes sense.
That
And then
way
in
it
next year's
doesn't
budget, it will
interfere with-
reflect the council president gets the big dollars.
No offense, it might not be you, David, so.
Not gonna be me. I'm announcing that now.
So the motion is to approve the language as just
As read?
presented.
Yes, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Just for clarification, if you get time between tonight and tomorrow morning, can you type that up and send it over to Sarah?
Approval of bid award to Tom Irwin Inc. for the fertilizing of River Point Park and Natick Field in the amount of $20,102.70.
Move the bid award.
Second.
Moving second, discussion. Jeff? Just want to come up and explain it?
I'm getting old.
I can't see V and Y, so don't worry.
Yeah, the reasoning for this is I've had a great working relationship with them last year. They were very receptive with all my phone calls. If I had any problems or any questions, I call them and they show up within 24 to 48 hours and we correct the problem. The fields look fantastic and I don't see any reason to go with somebody else with the way they did things. I think they did a fantastic job.
Jeff, I see you going with the middle bidder, not the lowest.
Yes, that's correct, yep. And the reasoning for that is the lowest bidder we had, a few years ago, reputable company, good company, they just were not receptive to my phone calls. They took a while to get back to me, sometimes weeks. In a situation like this where we put the money into the fields, I can't have you waiting weeks, I can't be waiting weeks for you to get back to me. I need a phone call back right away, and I need you to be there when I ask you to be there.
What were the prices on each? So, right, so we received a letter.
Yep.
An email, last week, I read over the weekend.
Yep.
From Forever Green.
Yep.
And it basically said that the award that the company you're awarding it to doesn't, didn't adhere to all the bid specs.
They did adhere to the bid specs as far as the initial bid specs, the first 6 steps, which is the most important part. The, one that they did not, provide for is goose control, and those were additional services. If you look at the bid specs, those aren't services that are required. Those are additional if I need them.
So why are they, like, all right, so I'm looking at this, all right, as,
Mhm.
as company A, B, and C.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, so the first thing you look at, what I look at as a bid is, all right, obviously price.
Mhm.
You know, who's out of whack, you know, who's a low bidder, why wouldn't you want to go with a low bidder, right? And you just said that.
Mhm.
So now we have 2 left, 2 and 3. What's the price on each, on the, I have the price on 2, what was the price on the third?
As far as what, the price,
So, Tom Irwin, you said it's 20,000?
yep, 20, hang on one second, I'll give you the exact. price.
10270?
I got that.
Yep,
What was the price on, actually on the other 2?
okay, Forever Green was 23,400, that was for the first 6 steps. And, True Green was 19,500 for the first 6 steps.
So, seventh step was put in the bid.
There was more than that, actually. There was, for, late spring and summer fungicide, late spring and early fall fungicide, and flock control.
All right, so is there an extra cost for that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So you want them done, right?
No, it was just additional services if I wanted them to see what the price would be on them.
All right,
Okay,
that's,
so I don't
that's-
necessarily need those.
Okay.
It was just put in there in case I needed them. That way we had a price on them.
okay. So whoever gets this bid award,
Mhm.
at that point, if you need them, they can name their price. Pretty much, right? Because you're gonna go with that company.
As far as what, the extra services are in here with the exception of flock control, and Tom Irwin does not offer the flock control. They don't have it, so I would have to go with one of the other companies or another company to
Did you
get
use
flock
that-
control if I
did you
needed
use
it.
that last year?
Flock control, no. No, I didn't use it last year and I didn't use it, a year before. I just put it in there in case it was needed. I actually made, decoys and they seemed to work pretty well, so,
And there's plenty of coyotes in the neighborhood.
yeah. They look more like German shepherds, but they work.
The only issue I have with this is looking at the price, we have a guy out of Mass,
Mhm.
and we have a guy who is right here in West Warwick.
Mhm.
It's the only, it's the only difference I have is we have a guy a stone's throw away, and we have
That's per year.
That's
That's,
this year,
that's,
just,
that's the 3-year bid,
That's, that was gonna be my
20,000 a year for 3
So-
years.
So you're talking 9, in the end.
Oh, 20,000 per year.
So you're
Yes.
talking $9,000 difference in a 3-year bid, not a $300, 600. And just going through budget time and saying you can't get a lawnmower for 15,000 or whatever, I
Well,
think
that
9,000 is a
brings
lot of money.
That brings my next question. Why can't we do our own, we're only fertilizer, they're point eight.
Excuse me?
Why can't we do?
Well, the reason I did it this way was, to be honest with you, is we put all the money into the new fields, okay? We put money into the field. I don't have anybody that's certified to apply fertilizer, okay? They offer the class once a year at URI, okay? And with us putting all the money into the fields, subbing it out, putting it out to another company, puts all the responsibility on them if there's a problem.
And not only that, I don't know, I fertilize my house and I use True Green. And if I went out and bought the fertilizer, they
Yeah.
come so many times. If I go out and buy the fertilizer, spread it myself, think about, it, right, I'm spending more money buying right now it's $90 a bag,
Yeah, I went
where it
through
used to be
this,
40. And True Green charges me $29.99 a month.
I went
so-
through this last year, but if you
We
remember
actually-
correctly, and I don't have the numbers, it actually comes out to roughly about the same, if not a little more, for us to do it ourselves by the time we're done.
And we actually had that conversation when the
Yeah.
fields got done, and I think
Correct.
I think we all agreed at that point in time, it was wise to sub it out instead of using it
Yeah.
in-house.
And I apologize, I don't have the numbers, what it cost, for us to do it ourselves, but it
How's
was,
that fertilizer? We gotta do.
yeah, it was,
Just a question.
there was a just so you know, from last year to the year before, there was a $10 a bag increase just in fertilizer alone, not including anything, so it's a ridiculous price. I don't know if it's gone down, to be totally honest with you, but.
No.
Price is going up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Jeff? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed?
I'm opposed. And the only reason I'm opposed is because the guy is right there.
The only reason I'm
I know.
opposed, it's 9,000 more.
So why,
a lot of money.
Yeah.
so last year, we did this last year, right?
Yeah, we had the same company come
So
out,
why are we going from a one-year contract to?
because it's, to me, it's a foolish thing to go year to year when I don't have to worry about this next year. I have a lot of other things to worry about, and this is locked in. I don't have to.
And you're locking the price, it could go up in a year, right?
Right.
No, I said,
Oh,
the only
no,
reason
no,
I'm not
yeah,
opposed
when-
is 9,000.
Yeah, you did say it the wrong way, but I knew what you meant.
Sorry. Is that a 4 to
I
1?
definitely hear what you're saying, Jason, and,
I think we all.
I think
I don't disagree, but you know what? I went for, same thing with my roofs. I had to go out of state because they were 10,000 cheaper.
I just don't agree.
All set? 4 to 1.
Resolution authorizing the town's matching funds for the federal fiscal year 2024 congressional directed spending community projects from American Rescue Plan Act funds in the amount of $315,207.
move the resolution.
Second, Mark?
As you're aware, we were awarded a congressional directed spending grant in excess of $1.5 million. That comes with a 20% local funding match. I'm recommending that we utilize American Rescue Plan funds for this interceptor inspection and repair project.
I think that was what we intended to do right along. Yes.
Any questions for Mark? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution to release residual funds from previously approved ARPA projects.
Resolution.
Moving second, Mark?
So this is also American Rescue Plan related. Over the last few years, you had all approved various projects as they have come up. There is 8 that have either come in under what was financially approved, or we stopped for whatever reason. So we're looking to release that money since it was approved funding to put back in the pot to redirect somewhere else that's needed. So the resolution lists those 8 projects and the amount of money, but in total, it's $65,069.85.
Any questions for Mark on that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Discussion action, approval of the sale of town surplus items on GovDeals.
Approval of the sale of the items.
Second.
Moving second. You guys want to help Mary Beth out tonight?
I'm good. I'm good.
Moving second, any discussion, Mark?
So by home rule charter, the council is required to approve the surplus sale of town-owned assets. I provided the list. There's 15 items that our fleet maintenance supervisor is looking to list on gov deals with the respective departments that that money would be reserved for upon sale.
So can I probably shouldn't ask the question, but I'm gonna, 5 pallets of forfeited goods.
So my recollection
And
back
there's
in
no
the day.
heroin, there's no
that's all.
Corvettes, there's
It's all
no.
exhaust fans and heating elements
So-
and lights is probably what
Power
most of it
stuff.
is.
But it's nothing that we could use in any way, shape, or form. We got rid
Not that
of
we haven't used already.
Perfect, okay.
I know I probably asked this, and you probably give me an answer. The money that comes in, can that go back to the various departments? or is
That's what
that-
it does. It's set back into their capital reserve accounts.
Okay.
So when they need something, it can be supplement whatever other funding source they come up.
Okay.
I think actually the sewer treatment did do that.
And we are doing much better on gov deals than we did
Oh.
right here,
Not even-
live in our town hall.
Right.
Oh, those were interesting. Any other comments?
And just out of curiosity, what do we think we're gonna get for the 2010 rescue? I mean,
I was gonna say that, it's gonna be an ice cream truck.
well,
Or maybe Willie's Wieners can sell hot dogs out of it,
Wiley's.
Whatever. whatever. Well, no, Willie can open his business to compete with Wiley.
Mama's TVs. All right, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You can go on and bid if you'd like an ambulance.
I'm gonna think about that.
Oh, boy.
Discussion action, acceptance of $143,000 grant from the Department of Energy and support for an AC replacement project for the town hall complex.
Move that we accept the grant.
Who was second, Mark?
So this is a two-parter. I was contacted through Senator Reed's office from the Rhode Island Office of Energy Resources, which works through the U.S. Department of Energy. Apparently, we're a community that gets a direct allocation of energy funds. So they've been looking to try to give us $143,185.93. So when I first learned of this, I asked RISE to do an energy assessment, and they came back with a bunch of recommendations. Some were small money items, some were big money items. So initially, I was going to apply for this and do some of the quick hit things, but they don't amount to $143,000. So it would have been a challenge. The item that's closest enough to the 143,000 is something that I think needs to be done as evidenced by failure of some air conditioning unit equipment that supplies the cool air to at least our police server room. It's happened a couple times where the system has failed. We had to call for emergency service to keep the computers on, because once it gets too hot, they shut down, and they did shut down on a couple circumstances. So I had one, I'll refer to it as a quick quote on what replacing this complex's air conditioning system would cost. And it came in, I think, at a slightly over $197,000. So in communication with my point of contact for this grant, I asked him what's the best scenario. And he said he recommends going for the big item than trying to do all the small ones. So essentially, I told him that I had this on the agenda tonight, that I would seek the council's guidance and support of me officially applying for that slightly in excess of 143,000 to apply it, and add that I'll be applying it, would like to apply it to the AC replacement project. So if approved, I'll apply for the money. We'll do an RFP for the air conditioning system, with the appropriate advertisement and bids. Hopefully, or expect maybe it'll come in less than the 197,000, but I would imagine it would be somewhere close to that. And then the second part is that the residual money that I'll need, looking for your support, depending on what I come up with a funding source, that you would, in concept, be in support of be applying for it, whether it be American Rescue Plan, whether it be capital, whether it be another grant that pops up in the meantime.
Since it's energy efficient or whatever, could we use any credits from the wind turbines if we have any?
I mean, we couldn't give, I don't know how would we pay a vendor with
Right.
credits? If somehow we can
We sell the
monetize that,
credits, right?
if we
sell-
can monetize that,
Yeah.
the company doesn't care how we pay them as long as the
Well,
vendor gets
we-
paid.
When we sell the credits, we get money.
Right, I have to ask Kristen how that,
When we sell the credits of the wind turbine, we do get cash, correct?
spendable cash, or is it stay in
A
a,
check. So could we use the energy fund to, say, the AC replacement project, meaning because we're making it more efficient? Little down. Yeah. Okay, no, I'm just saying, at the end of the time,
Something that
at
we
the
can-
end, the
yeah.
town manager, like, this is still in the works. And
Yeah.
at the end, if we can go back to that energy fund and say, hey, what do we got? If we are available, 1721, whatever it may be, I don't know, but
And then we just released 65,000 of opera money anyway, previously,
That's
so,
it.
yeah.
so that helps. You got plenty, I think you got plenty of movement with a couple of different areas.
I think we have options. I just think it's a worthwhile project. And obviously the efficiencies on a newer system that has the new Freon or whatever calls for it, it's gonna be way more efficient than the 20-plus-year-old's air conditioning system we have.
I'm a firm believer that when somebody is offering you free money, and it's not free, I understand that, but this money, if we don't accept it, will go to somebody else.
And if Senator Reed's office is willing to contact us and offer that, we'd be kind of foolish to turn it down, I would
Correct.
say. That's my
Absolutely.
opinion. Because we may need to ask at some other point.
Mhm.
Not may, we will have to ask at some other point.
Any questions for Mark? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Obviously, I'll come back with you when the project's finalized to an award, an RFP and
Yeah.
an alternative funding, extra funding source.
Thank you.
Resolution for reappointment of the town manager with employment agreement.
Move the resolution enthusiastically.
Moved and seconded, discussion? Who wants to discuss it? And we've had lengthy discussion.
We have had discussion and, you know, I believe Mark's done a terrific job. He's a West Warwick guy. There's no doubt about that. And, some of the changes he made, just simply the last item we talked about and the connections he's made. We're going after things like grants. We're paying attention to the budget. The team that he has developed here, I think, is terrific. They're even sitting here still, so without any food or anything else. So there's something to be said for that. I think it's well-deserved and, I'm thrilled that he wants to stay on.
Any other comments from the council? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Congratulations, Mark, and thank you.
Thank you.
And there's your fan club.
Timmy gets a standing ovation too.
Yeah.
Coffee and donuts are in order for tomorrow morning,
Yeah.
please, folks.
Resolution for reappointment of the town solicitor with employment agreement.
Move the resolution to reappoint.
Second,
Move and second, any discussion? Again, we've had lengthy conversation. Tim has a lot of institutional knowledge with the town. Whether you love him, hate him, or whatever you may want.
Depends what day it is, right? That's yeah.
Definitely has the town in his heart. And again, he's a West Warwick guy. I think born, bred, and raised through West Warwick here now. And by the way, what is today's, how many years?
82 years he's been,
No, how many years? How many years today? That's later, but how many years have you been in town?
A little bit longer than you. 24.
But again, this has been long overdue as far as, appointment goes. So any other comments?
Mark and Tim actually have worked together and Tim has seen the contract, obviously, and I think they have a good working relationship and to continue that, and there are some things that you guys are working out as far as reporting and stuff like that, so that's a good thing.
I know it was said before, but just so it's on the record here, the previous agreement was approved in February of 2018. So there's been no rate adjustments in the past 6+ years now. So I think it's only fair to make the adjustments.
Any other questions? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
And it does happen to be Tim's birthday today.
It is
Oh,
his
it's your
birthday.
birthday? Happy birthday, Tim.
I was saving it for public comment, but
That's actually not on the agenda. I think you're
I'm
kind of going
sorry,
off topic.
yeah.
you're off topic.
Don't give us the episode.
Yep.
That's why I didn't get anything for you.
Resolution supporting the installation of safety barriers on Rhode Island bridges.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Moving second, discussion, Mom?
I forget, I think this came in to Sarah, and I forget which organization it came from, but I think it was a partnership from the Samaritans and another organization looking to put a support into our legislators to push for safety netting on our bridges. If you'd like to, I'll read the whereases, but again,
No, I was able to.
in general, they're looking for that support. And obviously, there is a need, as, you know, our own local community's been affected by this. So I recommend supporting.
And I think, you know, one of the things, this has been a hot topic. It has not only hurt or affected the town of West Warwick, but many cities and towns and families around the state of Rhode Island. And I know the toughest thing to decide is how to do it, because there's wildlife, there's all sorts of things that's going on.
And there are, I mean, a lot of other places around the country have these. I know specific in Tampa, the bridge over there, and I'm not sure, but there's a lot of other ones throughout the country, but
Well, here in Rhode Island, I know they talked about netting, I know they talked about
Yeah.
many different things, but it's definitely, you know, helps to avoid the option of doing it that way and, you know, protecting families and friends and whoever else can be affected by this. So I totally agree that, you know, hey, you know, we'll leave it up to the state, but I think we should support this.
And I think I definitely agree with it as well, and we have been touched, and Mark, you personally have been touched by this, but I'm sure there will be discussion about what the cost is gonna be too, so I don't know, hopefully they'll be able to find the means.
It's the one,
Yeah.
But one life means a lot.
Exactly right.
Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Upcoming appointments. Sewer Use Board of Review, appointment to fill a vacancy as an alternate member for a 3-year term. Sewer Use Board of Review, appointment to fill a vacancy as a regular member for a 3-year term. Tax Assessment Board of Review, appointment to fill a vacancy for a 3-year term. School Building Committee, architectural, engineering, construction experience needed. Tree Warden must be a licensed arborist. Recreation Committee, appointment to fill a vacancy for a 3-year term. And Planning Board, appointment to fill a vacancy as a regular member for term ending July 2027. Public forum.
Any public comment?
Any online?
None online?
Put a hand raised.
make a motion to adjourn.
No.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Make a motion to move into executive session. I apologize.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Have a good night.